And then you have the karmic teachers, the karmic lessons to learn. And let me just switch the screen. So, karmic relationships help us learn some of the more important but painful lessons through tough love. Karmic relationships are designed to be a little bit uncomfortable, which is how they resemble the twin flame relationships. But with the karmic relationships, the sense of uncomfortableness comes where you begin to question if there's more to life, because the karmic relationships are kind of meant to suppress you a little bit so that they make you feel uncomfortable because you're growing. And they're your greatest teachers in the sense of they're reminding you of your self-worth. The moment you say, I deserve more, I am worth more, I want to experience more shall be given to you. But you need to get to that point of being so suppressed that you need to, like, no, I claim my path, I deserve more, and I will have more. Whereas with the twin flame journey, it's almost like you want to stay here, but once you meet the twin flame journey, it's like, oh, okay, this is going too fast. And it's like, no, your higher self knows that you're ready to experience the growth at this speed. So you just need to trust the guidance and you need to follow through with your actions. With the karmic connections, it's going to feel like a slow burn and you're going to feel like you're getting burned down to the ground, but then you're going to rise like a phoenix once you break free from them. Once you say, I think I've learned a lesson from this relationship, I think I'm ready to move on. Hopefully, I have imparted some of my wisdom onto you. Again, with the karmics, it's not always going to be smooth sailing departure, because obviously when people see you growing, they want to be around you because you bring them new life, you bring them new ideas. But if they're not willing to do the work, they become karmics because they block some of your growth. And karmic relationships help you rise above the current circumstances so that you can return to self-love. Because when you love yourself, you understand that you are in control of changing your habits to be healthier, to match that love. So each of these teachers, each of these relationships are designed to help you learn something from the experiences. They're not here to torture you, they're here to help you understand how life works, how life operates, and how you can operate on a different level. And so, this is the point to mention that if you haven't done the inner child healing, if you haven't removed the toxic habits, if you still have a toxic lifestyle, if you have a lack of growth mindset, so you're operating with the victim mindset or a scarcity mindset, lack mindset, and if you haven't done any shadow work, which is you taking full accountability and analyzing how your own behavior has impacted other people and how you can change your behavior to break the cycles where you're contributing to, let's say, manipulation or gossiping, that is shadow work. That is a part of type of shadow work where you say, do you know what, I think these are actions that are hurting other people, so I'm going to take the accountability and I'm going to shift this. I'm going to create a more positive habit, and every time that I see gossip, I'm not going to participate, I'm going to do something instead. This is you rewiring your subconscious mind, your conscious mind. You're reprogramming your mind in a way that you can be healthier, and in the process you start to transition from forming trauma bonds into aligning with the right relationships for your growth. It's all part of the growth anyway. It's all part of the learning experience. But trauma bonds happen when you're not living to your full potential. And so you bond with others who are stuck in life like you. So if you haven't done your inner child trauma healing, you're going to be more likely to get triggered, which is going to lead to the toxic habits, which are your coping mechanisms. So you're more likely to have this vicious cycle of being triggered, coping mechanism. I'm going to break free, triggered, coping mechanism. So you're more likely to remain in this vicious cycle, repeating the same patterns, the same choices, and therefore you become unable to break free from the limitations and expand on your potential and live fulfilling more of your potential. And that's how you end up attracting these people who are also stuck there with you. And you can get a trauma bond with a twin flame. And the way that you're going to experience that is essentially this push and pull type of relationship where essentially the twin flame journey is all about you doing the inner work, but because the twin flame serves as a mirror, you're able to see in real time what part of you need to work on. And the same way you're showing the person in front of you the same things. And if one of you is not ready to hear or see the truth, it might be the push and pull situation where one person is rising, they're healing, and the other one is not. So they're trying to bring you down a little bit because they're saying, slow down, I need more time. And you're like, nope, my higher self is guiding me to go forward. And that is the right way to escape the trauma bond, because you're not meant to do the work for somebody else. And especially on a twin flame journey, you are meant to grow. And if you're in this expansive season, you're meant to grow and allow your wings to soar, to spread and inspire other people to grow with you. If you're in a trauma bond with a karmic relationship, again, you're going to feel very demotivated. You're going to feel this lack of motivation, and the people that are karmics, that serve the function of a karmic, are going to remind you that they're going to show you what happens if you don't fulfill your potential. But if you are here to release more of your potential, which is the case with a lot of us, most of us, but some people have kind of given up. They've decided, I'm not going to do the journey. But if you're here to do the journey of growth and you are stuck in these trauma bonds relationships with karmics, they will keep bringing you down and giving you reasons to stay down. They're going to say, oh, let's go out and party. Partying is great. You're going to feel good after that. Let's order the junk food. You're going to feel, what's one day of eating that? What's one day of watching the drama, gossiping? They're gonna give you reasons to stay at the low frequency level, where this is a zone where growth doesn't happen. And when you start healing, you will be unable to stay. You will literally see it with your own eyes that this wasn't healthy for you and it's not healthy for you. So there will be no other way but going higher in terms of your spiritual growth. And finally, the karmics are the relationships that block your potential at some point, sooner or later. And the karmic relationships are the teachers who show you what's going to happen if you stop growing. Kind of like they remind you the worst case scenario. If the twin flame journey is quite harsh because it shows you the best case scenario, but you need to do the work. And it's like this massive gap between the vision that you've unlocked and seen and the vision that you've been revealed through this connection, but you're here and you're like, how am I going to get to this point? Through daily actions. With the karmic connections, it's almost, you see what's going to happen if you just remain on the same path, the same timeline. It's like a flat line. You're like, oh, no, I can't do that. I need to do more with my life. I'm here to do more with my life. So it's one way to give you the lesson to refocus back to yourself and start growing. And one of the most important lessons with karmic relationships is that you're not here to save other people. You're here to focus on your own growth, to advance your own consciousness, your soul purpose, to discover what it is, to step into it, to become more authentic, to release more of your potential. And I think this is where the karmic teachers, the very skilled ones, they have a lot of tactics. And they kind of trap you in these trauma bonds with manipulation, sob stories, and it's a smart system. But if you come back to the first slide, where we're all here to learn, we're all here to advance, we're not here to save one another, we're here to grow with one another. That's how we inspire others to get out of this being stuck in life, leading by example. And I've chosen 500 Days of Summer as the kind of example of a karmic relationship, because their relationship wasn't bad. It was a seasonal relationship. It wasn't a relationship that you share for the rest of your life. And I think if you watch the movie the first time, you might think, oh, she was awful. No, she was fulfilling the role she needed to fulfill in terms of life, learning, and growth. She came into his life to remind him to come back to himself and focus on his own growth. Because if you watch the movie for a second time, you're going to see that he was obsessed with her. He was obsessed with the relationship. So what happened is he completely lost sight of who he was because he was giving so much attention to somebody else. And this is what happens sometimes in relationships. We lose ourselves in the relationships. And these are the karmic relationships more often than not. And these karmic relationships are great teachers. They're painful teachers, but they're great teachers because they remind us what happened when we stop growing. They remind us what happens if we don't fulfill our potential. And 500 Days of Summer is a great movie that showcases that some relationships, as much as we want to make them work, they're not meant to be experienced for more than a season, because the lessons that you're meant to exchange, one season is enough. Have you learned a lesson from those relationships? As you know, they might feel very precious and important, and they probably are, because they need to teach you something important. But if you think about it, we don't know how much time we have on earth, and we're not going to live forever. So take the lesson, appreciate it, be grateful for the opportunity to share a little bit of time with every person that comes in your life. But don't get fixated on one person thinking, oh, that relationship was the love of my life. That relationship was going to save me. Or I was going to, if only I had stayed a little bit longer, I could have saved them. I could have, changed their life. Your presence has already changed people's lives in more than one ways, even if they haven't told you. So keep growing, keep being yourself, keep releasing your authenticity and your potential. That's how you step into your purpose. That's how you expand your consciousness. That's how you create change on earth.